For the second time in 3 weeks, the Texans have lost to the Indianapolis Colts. This time, it was 27-20. Last time, it was 26-20. Now, for the second time in 3 weeks, the Texans lost to the Indianapolis Colts because of a last-minute lucky fumble, pretty much. That ball, Kiki, he caught the pass. He was trying to get into the end zone, and then Darius Leonard, I believe it was, he came and punched it out, and the ball kind of bounced into the end zone. I thought Chad Henson was going to be able to pick it up, but the ball, bounced back to the Colts, and they picked it up in the end zone, and it's a touchback, so, yeah, I mean, only to the Texans, it would happen to the Texans. Now, if the Texans would have scored in that situation, I would have wanted them to go for 2-point conversion. I don't know if they would have done so. I feel like Romeo Crennel would have been a moron and just kicked the PAT. Then the Colts would have got the ball in overtime and the Texans would have lost like that. But I mean, what can you do? I mean, what can you say? This was honestly a game that I gave the Texans literally zero shot in. If you watched my prediction video, I think I said the Colts win 34-17, and I was like, pretty much end the season, it's over, whatever. I mean, the season's been over, but I mean, it was fun to watch, I guess, somewhat, because I was not really watching the game fully. I was watching here and there. I had to go do some adult things, and I have to go do some adult things after this too, Sticky's adulting now, so, yeah, I mean, but from what I watched, Deshaun Watson had a really good game. Chad Henson had a touchdown, wide open. David Johnson, it took these dudes, 13, well, technically 14 games. It took these guys 14 games to figure out how to use David Johnson efficiently. I believe David Johnson had 8 receptions for 80 yards or something like that. The dude was actually doing damage in the passing game. And, back in 2016, when David Johnson was actually good, a large part of the reason why he was considered good was because of the ability he has to be a good receiver like David Johnson. He's not a good running back, especially when you run him right down the A-gap repeatedly 14 times in a row. It's not going to work. But if you actually put him out there as a receiver, like you guys saw today, he can actually do some damage. Kahale Waring, dude, I believe he had 2, maybe 3 catches. I mean, the last catch he had was a pretty big one in my opinion. I mean, it was a pretty big play. Set the Texans up at the 30-yard line for the Colts. So yeah, Kahale Waring did some nice things. Pharaoh Brown did some okay things as well. Titus Howard left the game with a concussion. Rod Johnson had a false start, which set the Texans back. No, wait. Pharaoh Brown had the false start, which set the Texans back, which resulted in the Texans eventually kicking a field goal. So that's not good for Pharaoh Brown. Scotty Phillips did some things. Buddy Howell did some things. And I mean, that's something we've kind of been asking for since probably the 0-4 start, honestly. These young players should have been getting playing time ages ago. Ross Blacklock, Jonathan Grenard, Isaiah Coulter, who I didn't really see out there very much, or even at all, honestly. Like I said, I was doing some other things, so I didn't really pay 100% attention to the game. But yeah, I mean, the season's been over for a while now. Why in the world are the rookies not playing? You got dudes like Chase Claypool making plays over there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe Isaiah Coulter could do the same stuff for the Texans. But you know what? We'll never, ever, ever find out because Romeo Crennel doesn't play him. It's so dumb. I mean, I'm happy that we finally got more Kahale Waring this week. We got Buddy Howell. Finally got Scotty Phillips. I'm happy about that. But, we got to see more. Besides Charlie Heck. Charlie Heck's bad at football. See some John Reed. The dude was getting hype all off season long we only saw him week 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like, really? We got to see the dude week 1, but we don't get to see him now in week 15? He's had like pretty much a whole season of practicing, getting better during practice, and you chose to throw him out there week 1, but can't throw him out there week 14, 15, 16, 17. You know, like, it's so dumb. And like I said last week, I am so happy the season's over because I want a complete clean house. Get all these bums out of here, man, because that's what they are. They're bums. And even though, coaching really wasn't an issue in this game, it was mostly, the fumble. I mean, let's be real. The Texans didn't have Bradley Roby, cornerback 1. They didn't have cornerback 2, Garyon Conley. They haven't had him all season. They didn't have wide receiver 1, Will Fuller. They didn't have their starting right tackle for most of the game because Titus Howard exited. They didn't have, what's his name? Randall Cobb, wide receiver 3. So, like, they were missing a bunch of people, and if those players were playing in this game, the Texans would have won. Just how they were playing in the week 13 game, they would have won as well. Like, straight up. Like, if the Texans had their starters, they would have won despite the terrible coaching staff. So what does this tell you? It just tells you that Deshaun Watson is that special of a player that if the Texans get Eric Bieniemy or Joe Brady, Matt Eberflus, one of those good head coaching candidates, this team's going to go back to being the best team in the AFC South because the gap between Deshaun Watson and Phillip Rivers is astronomical. The quarterback position, at the end of the day, is really all that matters. I mean, yes, other pieces matter as well, but if you have a good quarterback, a great quarterback, a top 3 quarterback like Deshaun Watson, you're going to be all right, man. You're going to be all right. Like, straight up. Like, go get Bieniemy, and we'll be back in the playoffs next year. Like, it took the Colts 2 lucky fumbles to beat the Texans at full strength. The Colts were at full strength. The Texans were depleted by injuries or suspensions, whatever you want to say. They were depleted. No head coach, terrible coaching staff, and Deshaun Watson still twice brought the Texans within 2 yards of winning both games. Think about that for a second. Like, all these people that are saying, Texans rebuild 5 years. Yes, I am looking at you, Mr. Sockboy Charles James, talking mess about the Texans saying that Deshaun Watson needs to get out of Houston. I mean, maybe that's the reason why you're unemployed, buddy, because 1, you fucking suck at football, and 2, you don't know jack shit about football either. So, yeah, you stick to selling socks, Charles James. Anyways, though, I mean, what more can you say about this game? They really exceeded my expectations. Deshaun played great. Young players, was happy about the young players playing, and coaching didn't really piss me off all that much besides that one play. I think it was 2nd and 20, late in the 4th quarter. You guys know where I'm going with this. Late in the 4th quarter, T.Y. Hilton hadn't really done much all game, and the Texans leave him wide open in the middle of the field because they ran cover 2, and T.Y. Hilton was able to get probably what was like a 40-yard reception, or like 40-something. It was like definitely a big reception. I mean, it was a terrible throw by Phillip Rivers, wobbly, pass and all that, but didn't matter because T.Y. Hilton was wide open. But besides that play, I feel like the coaching staff really didn't, get me too angry, or I don't know, maybe there was more plays, but I just didn't, or don't remember, or didn't really realize because I was not paying attention all that much. I was on Twitter watching and stuff, and yeah, so I mean, I'm just waiting for next season, man. 2 more games, 2 very winnable games. One against the Bengals. They can definitely win that game. They can definitely beat the Bengals. The Bengals have a backup quarterback, and obviously the Bengals aren't as talented as the Indianapolis Colts. And they play a game in Week 17 against the Tennessee Titans. And the reason why I'm saying this game is winnable is because I highly doubt the Tennessee Titans play their starters in a meaningless Week 17 game, especially now that there's no bye week for the 2nd seed, and the 1st seed is honestly probably out of reach for them. So they'll probably rest starters. So the Texans will probably finish 6-10. So yeah. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Comment down below your own opinions on this game, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.